Right here, and today we're going to be doing Unit 10 Notes 2. So we're going to be talking about translations. So here represents a translation. So if you notice, what's happening is we're taking a shape and we're just sliding it along the coordinate grid. Now, remember that we talked about in the previous note video that the pre-image is always designated by these little prime symbols right there. Or our image, sorry. So our pre-image is our original image, which is right here. Then we took this image and we slid it down to here. That's why we have the primes, because this is now our image. Same thing here. You'll notice that these have the little prime symbols. So we took this triangle right here and we slid it this way. So our pre-image turned into our image when we slid it. Now let's take a look at a little bit of information about translation. So a translation, or sometimes we call it a slide, is we move all the parts of the original figure the same distance in the same direction. That's what gives that slide look, that we just kind of took it and pushed it along. Okay, so it needs to be the same distance and the same direction for each point. Okay, so the pre-image is our original image or our original figure. Okay, then our image is our new image or figure. So sometimes it'll say, I want you to translate the pre-image right. So if it ever asks you to move it right, you need to positively add to the x. If it asks you to go left, you need to subtract from the x. If it asks you to go up, you need to add to the y. If it asks you to go down, you need to subtract from the y. So I suggest having those left, right, up, down hints on there for you. So whenever you see any of those words, you know what you need to do and you know which coordinate you need to do it to. Okay? All right, next, let's take a look at number 1. Number 1 says graph each pre-image and the translated image. So we want to translate the triangle EFG up to right 2 units and up 5 units. Now, remember that if we go right, that right is going to mean adding to the x, and up is going to mean adding to the y. Okay, so let's take a look and let's plot our original points. So we have E is -7, -1. So we're on left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and down 1. So that point right there is my E. And then for F, we're going left 4, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is here. So that's going to be our F. And then we're going for G, left 3 and down 1. And that's going to represent my G. So right here, I have my triangle. Okay? And now I need to translate it. So I need to go right 2, which means I'm going to add 2 to each of the x coordinates. I need to go up 5, which means I'm going to add 5 to each of the y coordinates. So I have E prime, so I'm going to take -7 and add 2, that's going to give me -5. Take -1 and add 5, and that's going to give me a +4. Then for F prime, I'm going to add to the x coordinate 2, that's going to give me -2. Add to the y coordinate 5, that's going to give me a +1. Then for G prime, I'm going to take -3 and I'm going to add 2, that's going to give me a -1. And then -1, I'm going to add 5, which is going to give me 4. So now I'm ready to graph those points. So for E, I'm going left 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that right there is my E prime. Then I want to go ahead and go left 2 and then up 1. And that right there is going to be my F prime. And then for G, I want to go left 1 and up 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's going to be my G prime. So then I can go ahead and I can connect those dots, and that gives me my translated triangle right there. Okay, so let's take a look at number 2. So we want to figure out the translation of the soccer ball from position 2 to position 3. Well, first let's figure out what position this soccer ball is at. So I notice that it's left 1, so that's going to be -1, and then up 1. So it's the -1, 1 is that coordinate point. So then to get to this soccer ball is left 2 and then down 1. So to figure out, first of all, I noticed that it's going to the right, and it went to the right 1, 2, 3 points. So it went right 3, and then I noticed it went down 1, 2, and then it went down 2. So that's a translation. Right 3, down 2. Next, let's take a look at number 3. So we want to translate the square, and it gives us this vector right here. So all that means is that we're going left 3, or adding that negative 3, and down 4. That's what that vector is telling us, okay? So first let's start off by plotting those points. So for J, we're going over 1, 2, 3, and up 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's for J. And then for K, we're going up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then up 1, 2. And that's going to be my K. For L, I'm going over 7, which is here, and up 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's my M. And then, or that's my L, sorry. And then now I need to do my M, and my M is over 5, up 6, which is here. So that's my M. So this right here represents my square. So now I need to go left 3 and down 4 for each one. So if I'm looking at J, J has the point 3, 4. So J prime, first thing I need to do is subtract 3. That's going to give me 0. Then subtract 4. That's going to give me 0. So I'm at 0, 0 for J prime. For K prime, K was originally 5, so I need to subtract 3, and that's going to give me 2. And our y-coordinate was 2, so when we subtract 4, we get negative 2. And then we want to do our L prime. Well, for our L, we originally had 7 for the x-coordinate. We're going to subtract 3, and that's going to give us 4. And we have 4 for the y-coordinate, subtract 4, and we get 0. Last but not least, we have M prime. And then we're going to take 5, subtract 3, that's going to give us 2, take 6, subtract 4, and that's also going to give us 2. So now I'm going to go ahead and plot each of my images. So J is at the point 0, 0. Well, that's just at the origin. So J prime, or the image of J, is at the origin. Then K is going to be over 2 and then down 2. So right here is K prime. Then for L, we're going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4, up 0. So then we have L prime. And then for M, we're going over 2, up 2. And that's M prime right there. So this right here is our image for that translated square. Okay? Last but not least, let's take a look at 4. So it says graph TUV with the vertices -1, -4, 6, 2, and 5, -5. So they actually already drew that triangle for us. Now we just need to do the image. So we're going to add the x-coordinate to -3, and we're going to add the y-coordinate to 2. That's how you use that vector. Okay? So first of all, for T prime, we need to add the x-coordinate by -3. So -1 plus -3 is -4. The y-coordinate is -4 plus 2 is -2. For U prime, 5 plus a -3 is 2. -5 plus 2 is -3. Oops, that was V. I'm sorry. We need to do U. So for U, 6 plus a -3 is 3, and 2 plus 2 is 4. For V prime, 5 plus a -3 is 2. -5 plus 2 is -3. So now we need to plot each of those points. So for T prime, we're going left 1, 2, 3, 4, down 2. So that point right there is T prime. Then for U prime, we're going left 1, 2, 3, up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And right there is U prime. And then last but not least is V prime, which is over 2, down 1, 2, 3. So it's actually going to kind of show up in the middle of that triangle, but that's okay. So then if we connect these dots, that's what's going to give us our triangle. So that's our translated triangle over the vector -3, 2. So that concludes your note video for today. Go ahead and show me your completed note sheet when you are done. Thanks for listening.